So a few reflections on my process partnering with private equity. That diligence process, I know that there's been some discussion on the panels and other presentations, can be grueling. And you need to prepare yourself and the team. And that typical process, once you engage with private equity, that letter of intent to closing is typically, most of the time they'll say 60 to 90 days. It's probably more like 90 to 120 days. So 3 to 4 months. My process was about 9 months. And so there's a lot of data requests. It's almost like a full-time job on top of your full-time job. And so you want to make sure that if you're going into that process, you understand and your team understands what kind of a sprint it's going to be to make sure that all the calls, all the data is collected and all the discussions are had. Another reflection that I have is about setting expectations with your team, making sure they understand why you're partnering with growth capital or private equity or a family office, some type of investor. Because if they don't understand why you're doing it and they get wind of it, all kinds of rumors can go crazy. They can think, oh, you're selling out, or oh, what is it? Everything's going to change, and you'd be surprised at things people come up with. And so you want to make sure that as a leader, if you're going through this process, that you message the best that you can to the groups you're speaking with, so that they understand that it's a positive thing and it's about your why for your company and the growth of it. Another thing that as I think back on my journey, you want to minimize, just like if you're bringing in a single dental practice, you want to make sure that you set clear expectations about what's going to happen, right? You want to make sure that they understand the affiliation with you and what that means and what it looks like, and if there are changes that are going to be made. Everybody's worried about change, right? And as humans, most of us don't like change, and it's difficult to deal with. And so we want to make sure as leaders that we're messaging that to them, what those changes are, and trying to minimize those changes. And the same when you're partnering with an investor. If there are changes that are going to happen, make sure you're messaging that and leading regarding that message. You also want to ensure that your team and organization are aware of this diligence process and what's going to be required afterwards in terms of what the growth plans are for the company and where the company's headed, so that you can get, I love the analogy of having the boat and having everybody rowing the same direction in cadence. And then you go seize the day. And so I'm going to get more into my story and jump back and forth as I discuss some of the details of how PE works and what to expect. But this is one of the central messages that I want to get across today, is about the primacy of fit and how important fit is. And you heard this on the panel earlier, that how critical fit in all different aspects, not fit just from a capital perspective, that, okay, they're going to give us a certain deal that works for us. That's not good enough. You need to look for an aligned vision, aligned strategic goals, the why, the what, the how of how you're going to grow together. You also want to make sure there's a personality fit, because when things are great, everybody gets along. But when things are not going well, or there's real challenges that you need to face, you want to make sure that you have a relationship to fall back on to collaborate and work together. And the other piece I want to get into, I think that's critical, is the value add. There needs to be, if you decide that private equity is the right way to go for you, you want to make sure that the value that they provide is a tangible value to the business beyond the capital. So there needs to be a value add beyond the capital to ensure that there's, and you might ask, what is that? So some value additions they can have. Maybe they have dental experience and they understand deal structures, they understand JV structures, they understand how to structure the deal. That's one value add. If they don't have dental experience, hopefully they have at least some kind of healthcare experience where they can transfer say 70, 80, 90% of the learnings from previous deals in adjacent markets within healthcare that they can help you with. They can help you with scaling. They can help you with finding talent. There are a myriad of ways that private equity could help you and add value, but you need to make sure there's something there that's real and tangible besides the capital. And then making sure there's an agreement on exit strategy, time frames and what that looks like and what the targets are.